Hey, it's Jordan with TYT Network. Got a little new do for the summer. Also, my hair is thinning, so I figured why not just get rid of it preemptively. I'm in Los Angeles today for the rest of the week as well. I might be going some other parts of California to cover the road to the primary, which including starting tomorrow, there's 7 days left before the California primary. Obviously, biggest one on June 7th, among other states, the most delegates at stake in the country. So for Bernie Sanders, it's not going to completely erase the gap he has in pledged delegates, but if he wins, and if he actually wins by a significant margin, it could really shorten that gap. So there's a lot of news, a lot of interesting developments coming up regarding the California primary. So let me tell you, the most recent polling that we have available is a PPIC poll. I've never heard of it, but from what I hear, it's pretty reliable. And it has Hillary up by 2 points, 46% to Bernie Sanders, 44%. And the margin of error for that poll, which essentially means, could be statistical error in the polling, is 5.9%. So essentially, she's up by 2%, but it's a statistical tie. So that's very good for Bernie Sanders going into the primary. He's been campaigning like a motherfucker all week and the last few weeks. On Monday, Memorial Day, he had a really, really big rally in Oakland, California. He actually was almost not accosted, but some protesters, animal rights activists, actually stormed over a gate trying to get at him, but Secret Service put a stop to that. But on the positive end, on the conservative side, about 20 to 30,000 people were there for Sanders. Of course, you're not going to see that on CNN or any of these networks. They don't care. So there was about 20,000 to 30,000 people. Bernie's in Northern California today and tomorrow, Palo Alto, California, and Davis, California today, Tuesday. So he's campaigning there. And Hillary Clinton's actually in New Jersey today campaigning with fellow establishment leader Cory Booker, who's the senator from New Jersey. She's campaigning there. The most recent poll for the New Jersey primary, which is also on June 7th, has Hillary Clinton up 14 points. She's up 54% to Bernie's 40%. This was a week and a half ago, is the most recent poll in New Jersey. So it might move here and there. Bernie has not really invested that much in New Jersey. It's been an expected victory for Hillary Clinton. Kind of outside the numbers, New Jersey is one of the most establishment Democrat states in the country. Very big machine there of establishment Democrats. Obviously, Christie is the governor, but the Democratic on the state level is very, very pro-establishment and status quo. Pretty much all in the tank for Hillary Clinton, as we've seen in many, many other states I've covered. So Bernie's probably going to lose New Jersey. I don't think it will be a 14-point spread. It'll probably be a little less than that. The most interesting development, I think, Hillary Clinton was supposed to campaign in New Jersey up until Thursday of this week. Today, Wednesday and Thursday, her campaign over the weekend actually canceled her rally that was supposed to be held on Thursday in New Jersey in order for her to do more campaign rallies in California. What that tells me, their campaign's internal polling is worrying them. I think they're seeing that Bernie is either tied or slightly ahead in California, and she knows that she's going to win New Jersey, so she's doubling down on California. You saw her do a similar thing in Kentucky. When she saw that Bernie was closing in, possibly even past her in some polls, she started sending Bill Clinton to Kentucky, and she started going there herself a lot more, and also getting up heavily with TV ads in Kentucky. If you remember, she stopped running primary ads for a while and then went back on the air in Kentucky. That's probably why, between her visits to Kentucky and the TV advertising she did, that she beat Bernie Sanders by 0.5 percentage points. But her going to California tells me that she's now all in on California. You're probably going to see her campaigning in California today, which is Tuesday, up until the following Tuesday, which is the primary. And I think another thing that shows is the Clinton campaign is aware, based on their internal polling in California, coupled with the poor polling that they're seeing of her versus Donald Trump. They're aware losing California, it might not make Bernie Sanders the nominee, but it severely cripples her heading into the convention. Let's say she loses California next Tuesday. Let's say she loses several other states, New Mexico, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota. You will have Bernie Sanders pretty much, assuming she wins New Jersey, assuming she wins Puerto Rico, which is on June 5th, assuming Yes, New Jersey and Puerto Rico. Bernie Sanders, if he wins the rest of the states, including California, would have won 8 out of the final 12 primaries. D.C. is on June 14th, but not counting D.C., Bernie Sanders will have won 8 out of the last 12. So you have Bernie Sanders, huge momentum. You have Bernie Sanders, every poll for the last few months, really beating Donald Trump badly, whereas Hillary Clinton is up by a point, 2 points, 3 points. Bernie Sanders up in some polls by 15 percentage points. That's not exactly the biggest sales point to go into a Democratic convention. Yes, I'm ahead in the math, but my opponent is kicking the Republican nominee's ass in the polls. He beat me 8 out of the last 12, and I also have a possible FBI indictment hanging over my head. So I think if she loses California, you're going to see Bernie possibly shoot up even more in the polls versus Trump. I think you're going to see her poll numbers versus Trump get a little weaker. And I also think you might see Bernie, even after the primaries, be doing some interesting things before the conventions in July. Even though he's not running for primaries, it wouldn't surprise me if Bernie goes full tilt with rallies and events all the way up to the convention to really put pressure on the superdelegates. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I think the superdelegates are all going to switch based on Bernie's strong polling numbers versus Trump, Bernie winning 8 out of the final 12, and just common sense, a possible indictment hanging over her head, because I think the power of corporate money and just being in the establishment really takes away reason from a lot of these people. But what I do think is it's going to be a lot more interesting of a convention, and if something happens between now and July, Bernie winning California would be a big, big deal. I also want to point out the Clinton surrogates love to talk about the math, right? She's up right now, I think, about 280 pledged delegates. But when it comes to who is clearly the strongest candidate versus Donald Trump, him winning California, they can't really keep going out and saying that. So what is their sales point? She's going to be a badly injured candidate going in, front runner, going into the Democratic convention in Philadelphia. I think it's also going to embolden Bernie Sanders supporters, who she really needs to, quote, fall in line. We do have the Bernie or bust debate, to stick with him even more and say, I'm not voting for her. My guy won 8 out of the last 12. I'm riding this through with him. So I think you're going to see between now and California primary, my prediction would be you're going to see some more, emails come out from Hillary Clinton just alerting us about negative things about Bernie Sanders, even though Bernie's run the most negative campaign ever, her campaign says. To me, in California, really the key factor on whether Bernie's going to win or not is the youth vote. California has some of the youngest cities in the country. San Francisco, Los Angeles, you have San Diego, Oakland. Bernie Sanders needs Obama-like turnout among young voters. I'm talking 18 to about 27, 28. Obviously, 18 to 35 would be terrific, but the core of the youth, 18 to about 27, 28, he needs to come out like trailblazers for him to win, because he's up against a lot of old money and wealthy individuals in Beverly Hills and other wealthy areas in California who tend to vote for Hillary Clinton. So I think if Bernie manages to bring out the youth vote, I think he could win, and I think he might win by quite a margin, upwards of 5 to 10 points, which can make a difference in the delegates. So I think you're going to continue seeing Bernie do rallies where mostly young people live, and I think you're going to continue seeing Hillary Clinton, if she does rallies, continue to have smaller venues because she can't really turn out that amount. So for what I'm doing, I'm in LA today. I'm kind of setting my schedule for the rest of the week. I might be following a little Bernie. I might be following a little Trump. Jimmy Dore has been out there as well in California following Bernie and Trump. So TYT Politics all over it, youtube.com/TYT Politics.